session is about to begin. Hello. Hey, can I get everyone in here to stand up real quick? I want you to put your hands together, clap real loud. Yes, good morning, good morning. Hey, I just want to say this session here is Brave Hearts, and each and every one of you are exactly that. You are Brave Hearts. So before you take your seat, one more round of applause for each other. Awesome. Hey, you can take a seat. As you would have just seen in that quick intro AV, we've gone some miles with some pretty harsh stuff that's gone on. And you would have seen in there crime, domestic violence, mental health, all the struggles that have been actually put on us over some crazy times. But you know what? It's taken some amazing brave hearts to stand up in the midst of so many storms and come out and be that brave heart for so many that couldn't maybe have a voice or couldn't do stuff for themselves. So one thing I just want to say with Man Up and Legacy, we truly are on a healing crusade right now. And something, that I know is that we've got some stuff to do around our country and Australia and the other places, that have been affected by so many things, that are trying to suppress us, especially to do with families. One thing our Prime Minister said in the last kind of live that she did, she actually said that this was going to be a summer of healing. I was like, oh, sis, that word does not belong in your mouth. Healing is our word. Healing is something that we bring. Healing is something that we've been doing way before she inflicted so much pain on our country. And it's taken brave hearts to be able to step forward, to take up a challenge, and our own stuff going on, and our own things going on, and we're stepping forward and we're actually challenging the system to say, no, you're not doing this anymore. You are not going to come against our families. You are not going to come against our children. You are not going to come in and tell us what we can and what we can't do. And I know Apostle said this so many times. You want to raise our next generation? Well, you make sure you're there 24/7 with them. Don't just put out the commands and demands, but you're not there when they need you the most. And that's one thing with Man Up and Legacy. I can tell you, we are 24/7. We wrap around, and we do it in a voluntary manner. We don't get government funding, so everything we do is from the heart. And that's why we have called this session Brave Hearts. One thing with Legacy is it's never stopped. Even over the lockdowns and the times, and I'm talking to Legacy because, I'm going to wave that banner hard. We haven't stopped. We've kept going, whether it's been online or meeting up with people on the line. So food parcels throughout that time, major call-outs, domestic violence, we've been there. When we got told, don't talk to your neighbour, don't stand next to anybody, don't go and see anybody. Do you know what? We were like, no. And that's truly, when something really hit hard for us, when we couldn't be connected to people, when we couldn't be there to help them when they needed us most. So you know what? No more. And brave, home of the brave. I couldn't have put a better title to this whole conference, Home of the Brave, because it's something that we have as a collective carried through this whole time. So I just want to say to you, as we move through, you know what? I am so proud of each and every one of us. I am so proud of each and every facilitator. I am so proud of me. I'm so proud of you, just being able to stand tall and keep doing those things. So with Legacy, this is something we actually haven't done before. This next AV that we're going to show, we've actually gone inside a Legacy session for the very first time with permission from this session. And this one, I say this all the time. It's one of my favourite sessions. All of them are my favourite. But, for this session here, it's actually something that I think for me too was a struggle. And to know who you are. And when somebody asks that question, what were you born for? Who are you? And what's your purpose? It's almost like, who asks those kinds of questions? We do. And I think that's what I love so much about Man Up and Legacy, is it's the real talk. We're going in there. It's not just talking about the weather. How are you? What are you wearing today? No, we go straight to the heart. We go deep. And so this session here, like I said, was something for me because identity is something that everybody struggles with at some stage in their life. Knowing who you are and not attaching you to somebody else. It's you standing alone as a person. It's you having that relationship with Christ. And I know I'm preaching to the converted, but it never gets familiar. It never gets like a comfortable place for me, Legacy. Every single session, I don't think I've missed one, even if I have to hop on online when I'm away and just even facilitating. If I'm not facilitating, I'm a co-facilitator. I've been in all those roles and I just love it every Tuesday. Why? Because it makes me a better person. Because it helps me to be a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, a better daughter, a better workmate, all of those things. And so it doesn't have an expiry date. And when I see new women walk in for the first time and I see how much that they're embracing it, I'm like, girlfriend, don't you ever take what we have, this precious gem, for granted. So again, I say to you, don't ever give up on Man Up and Legacy. Whether you're referring somebody, whether you're facilitating, whether you're supporting, get there for you, first of all, and then get there for someone else. But hey, this is an AV that we want to share inside a Legacy session for the first time, so I hope you enjoy.
Keep going. The great rules of that. So that was last week. So this week we're going to be talking about identity. And so that's our topic for tonight. Identity. It's not an easy question at all. The question really is not so much what we do, it's who are we? Who are we?
I just loved them more than I loved myself, and in that process I lost myself.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that I did everything for him, and it just wasn't good enough. And now I'm trying to find myself again.
And the moment you attach yourself to something that's external from you, you leave yourself vulnerable to, a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
And so I guess I've realised that my identity really lies in who I am at my core. Who am I spiritually? What am I?
Really tore me to pieces, that actually, not knowing who I am. I just sat in a lot of confusion for a very long time.
Legacy has always been somewhere where that's brought out the best in me, you know. But I think that's the thing, it's fighting to get there, because when you're growing up a certain way, or you've learned so many behaviours, you've got to learn a different way of living.
One thing I love about this session is it's also a healing session. So much healing can take place in identity and knowing who you are, who you're called to be. I love the fact in Man Up and Legacy that we are talking about these real topics, things that are personal to us, a place where you can come, be vulnerable, and I'm so proud of all the brave facilitators, but the brave ladies that walk through that door and are able to open up and share and talk about identity.
Wow, wasn't that amazing and beautiful to actually be inside a Legacy session? And I guess just in saying that, you know, through facilitators, there is a lot of preparation that needs to be prepared going into a legacy session. So can I just ask that everyone gives a round of applause for our facilitators, our 2ICs, that definitely get in there and do what they need to do to be able to heal and help and be life to others. It's a very big job. But this morning, I have a panel here that we're going to get into. And through these different women from different walks of life, you know, there is something they do have in common. So just, I guess for yourselves, lady, give us an introduction of you and your connection into legacy.
My name's Matilda Kahutia. I live on the North Shore. My connection, I suppose, my whole journey started was through legacy, and that was about 7 years ago, where I was in a traumatic environment. I suppose I was surrounded by drugs and violence, and I was screaming for help at that time. And I went along to a legacy group with one of my friends. Actually, I suggested her to go, but I'd never been before. So I thought I'll go along, and then back then I thought there's nothing wrong with me, I'll just go along and help her. And then I started sitting there and listening to the ladies, and I was like, that's me, you know, that's my story. And then I started to share. And that was 7 years ago. But that was the biggest turning point in my life. It's led me to where I am now.
Kia ora, my name's Frida Manahi. I think everybody knows my husband, Toko. I came into, I was invited into Legacy. I didn't think I had a problem. I thought my husband had a problem.
Oh, it's a common saying today.
Yeah. And so I thought I was all good. Long story short is that I did have a problem. My heart was so hard that I was so independent, and I didn't know how to bring that wall down. So when I went into Legacy, got invited from our General Biddy Wilson, and it took another 5 weeks before I started to actually have the courage to even talk. And so from that day on, I saw that door open for me, and things started to peel away from me. Legacy was a place that I needed to go to. I thought I could change my husband, but I realised that I needed to change first. And so it's impacted me in a mighty way to where we are today. My husband planted us in the house, and this is my heart now. This is my life. I'm a lifer. And so, yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora everyone, my name's Lorraine Tahitahi. I've been doing Legacy for going on 5 years now. I come into Legacy straight from an 18-year addiction habit from methamphetamine, 20-year relationship of domestic violence. I pretty much come in broken, fully. I had no confidence or anything, and I thought that, you know, what I had was so bad that I couldn't even talk about it to anyone, that everyone would like freak out on my past, and I really thought I was alone. But through Legacy, it took me a little while. I had a beautiful leader, Iron Woman, that I had learned off, Christine Eremiha. She's walked with me through my journey from the beginning. She's been my Iron Woman, my strength through this whole thing, and I've been at Legacy. I've been clean from meth for 18 years, for seven years this year. I've done a lot of rehab programs in my life, and nothing got me deep as much as Legacy. I had to dig deep. So when I first started Legacy, I think Legacy already started, and I was coming to church. And they were like, oh, I need Legacy. I was like, oh, no, I'm fine. I don't need Legacy. I'm going to church. That's good enough. But, man, when I first went, I started with Elder Jamie here at the church with my first rotation. And, oh, man, it was just like dug in places, I dug deep in places that I had never ever talked about before. And I think that's where the healing comes, when you expose, stuff that you've never ever talked about. Like I used meth for 18 years to hide it. From childhood trauma. So it comes up in, your adulthood. So, and I lost my kids and everything, but today I am, I'm 7 years clean. I am working with, I'm serving, doing legacy, and I also work in the community with vulnerable families, wrapping around supports for them. So I'm not that person, and I'm not in that place anymore through legacy.
Beautiful, awesome. And I guess just for yourself, Matilda, can you just explain to us what kind of work you're doing now?
So now I'm a director of a rehabilitation facility. We founded not long after I started Legacy. And we opened up 18 months ago, and I've had 52 men go through our facility. And it's working so well. We're making those connections. I learnt a lot of what I'm doing now through my own lived experience. Legacy gave me the strength to say, it stops at me. That I had the strength to, I've got 7 boys. I've got 7 sons and a girl. And my sons were members of a gang. And we had a pretty traumatic life. I lost a son to that life as well. And Legacy gave me that strength to say, I got the power to make it stop here. And so that's what led me to, now I mother 52 men. That kind of thing.
Awesome, amazing. Now just going over to you, Lorraine, what is it that you're currently doing out in the community, and how is that?
It's amazing, actually. I'm in my purpose, living my purpose at the moment. I've got the privilege and honour to co-facilitate with the lovely lady Sandy O'Connor. We facilitate at the Grace Foundation Women's Rehab in the city. It's working with, so we take our the legacy program into the Grace Foundation, and it's amazing. I really, really enjoy it. I relate to the women. They're straight from prison. Some of them are self-referral. Some of them are not from prison. They're just from the court system. But it's like looking at the old me. And I feel like, what I bring to them is hope. And I just really, really enjoyed, because I look at every single one of them and know that, I was once like them, and I show them that there is change is possible. I know in the system we just do the programs to tick that box. One of the ladies have said to me, Lorraine, when we do legacy with you every week, she said, I don't want to do the programs that we've got afterwards, because she still sits with, how deep she went in the legacy program. And that's at the beginning of it, because legacy at the beginning, as us ladies know, it goes deep with the first few weeks, and but when they come out, like in the last quarter of the rotation, like just the changes you see, it really it works fast. I don't know why legacy isn't in everywhere, in probation and everywhere, because it does hit the places where women think they can't get healed from. It takes it right back to their childhood, and it heals those hurts. So that's what I do now, and also in the community. I also I do legacy in the community as well, Māngere, and so it's a different dynamic, because I'm going from women that are in prison to women that are in the community, and it doesn't matter what walks of life you come from. Legacy helps all women.
Beautiful, awesome. And I guess in saying that, there are AVs and things out there where we do say, legacy is for women from all walks of life. It literally does not matter what colour skin you got, what type of background you've had, because it's so relevant, because we are human. And that's what makes it so common. We're human beings and we all go through things. Just wanted to reiterate that. And for yourself, Frida, obviously I know what you do, but for those that don't know, let us share that with them. But also being a female in where you are, how is that, being the only female there, and what kind of input do you have towards what you do?
So when I was in Legacy, one of the weeks that we do, it's about goals and expectations. And one part of my Legacy, the rotation, I had this vision someone gave us the opportunity to come into the house and to understand and know that there was another way. And when I had my vision, the vision was to see men come out of prison, because that was my lifestyle. The lifestyle before now was that I lived to survive abuse and everything else, and I didn't know anything else, so that was my norm. When I came into Legacy, I believe, because of where I was, that I had this vision of my husband and I had this vision of bringing men out. And so we too run a recovery home called Manatua. For 4 years now we've been running it. Our daughter had said to me and my husband, "Mum, Dad, you should pray and fast about where you're going to from here." And so the door started opening up for us, and those opportunities of, we didn't know what to do, we didn't know how to do that. I haven't got a business mind or anything, and so, but my heart was, and passion for the men, because behind the men there's a partner, behind the partner there's tamariki, and behind them there's their mum and dad and whānau. And so we done it for 4 years. We're still trying to get it right, but I believe that what we're doing now is amazing, and I see all that the men want is a dad and a mum, and that's where I feel that my role is, to bring the men into our home, to show them that they have potential, they have greatness, they were born for greatness, and that's the opportunity that we can give them. Nothing more, nothing less, no material things. And so they captured that. The minute they walk through our door, they feel that warmth, they feel that spirit of, wow, I got here. So we started from humble beginnings in Manurewa, from a house that, a 3-bedroom house and sleep outs, to a beautiful home where we are now in Papakura. And it gave them men an incentive, and they were just in awe, thinking, wow, is this for me? And that's an achievement, that's a blessing that I can see in the men that are with us today too. And they strive, just like Matilda said, within the short time of that she's been going, she's seen the progress in how many men have come through hers. I have many sons now. We have many sons, and the many sons have come through this house, and so that's a beauty. It's kingdom mahi now. I finished up my job 2 years ago. 2 years ago to do kingdom, and so high-paid job to blessings and wealth in here.
That's amazing. But like you said, you didn't know the ins and outs of, running a business or doing anything like that. However, you had the heart, and that's what drove you to the success that you are today. So thank you very much. And just for yourself, Matilda, what are some of the battles, being in the position you are within the rehab, what are some of the battles you have faced or are facing, whether it be internally or externally from the community?
I think, to be honest, I really rubbed up the grain of the Highwigs, I think, because, I'm a mother to Headhunter members, and I'm a member of Destiny Church, so, you couldn't. But yeah, it was, I was always at the forefront of who I was, and then actually I wanted to highlight that. There's always been this issues that they or the way they had their dealings with gang members, and that was their issue with me. So that's the fight I'm actually up against at the moment. What they see as a gang label, I don't see. Those are our people. Those are our sons. Those are our brothers. Those are our fathers. Those are our grandfathers. And I suppose that's the difference. I suppose that's the fight I'm up against. But I'm going to take it. They labelled our farm the G farm, and they always said, "Oh, you got all those. What's G farm stand for? Is that gangster farm?" I said, "Yeah, those are God's gangsters." We don't choose who comes through these gates, God does. Yeah. And so, I'm up against a fight I'm willing to take because these men are worth it, our families are worth it. And so the battle's there, but I answer to a higher judge, so I got him behind me.
Beautiful. And I guess it wouldn't be right to say, how's your situation going, or let us know updates, because as Man Up Legacy, we walk alongside people. So we're very much in the journey with you and supporting you along that journey. But
thank you.
That's been good for you?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But there's one thing they highlighted, I had to say, out of everything that was that had come up during the media time, and I had actually. And I'd like to share with you, I had a meeting with corrections, and then everything that was going on, their main big issue they had was with our program, was one of our programs, and that was the Man Up program. I was like, wow, really? But that just kind of reinforced to me. I let them know this is the most effective program we have with these gangsters. This is the program that connects with them, that touches their heart, speaks through God with them. And I'm not stopping. I'm continuing our program to keep going. Yeah. It's a lot of what we do, a lot of what I've been taught. I was a teacher, and for me it's educating these men, and I've just realised now maybe we have to educate both sides of the fences. Yeah.
Awesome. Isn't that amazing? When you've just got the heart to just want to do what's right by the people, you want to deliver, you want results, and we know that Man Up and Legacy definitely provides that. So thank you so much for what you're doing. That's amazing. And I'll switch over to you, Lorraine. So, knowing you are working with these women, or even for yourselves, these men and families, what are some of the most amazing changes you've seen come out from that, or even miracles? What are some dramatic things that have happened? Because we don't just advertise, this is a 15-week program and that's it. We very much entertain this as our lifestyle, as you've heard. 7 years, 5 years, and for myself, since the journey started. So we are exampling it as well as facilitating it in amongst these people's lives. So just give us an insight as to what are some of the amazing victories that have happened throughout the journeys of what you've seen.
Through facilitating at Grace Foundation, I had women that first started off with not even speaking, and having most of them didn't have their children and stuff like that. So it's just great to see them come through the end and being able to come into group and being able to speak, put their hand up first when we go around in discussion, and also just just seeing them with their kids and stuff like that. Like some of them have friend requested me on Facebook and stuff, and I see the positive changes that they've made with having their kids present and stuff like that, and just the hope that they receive from Legacy, just being that life-giving spirit to them, to knowing that like, you know, change is possible and they can overcome whatever battles they've come through, because most of them are really quite, you know, had family trauma through their life, and it's just beautiful to see the change in them and the openness of how they come and the healing. And it's just, for me, it's just reiterating that, you know, Legacy does, you know, it's not just that 15-week program, and that, you know, it is a lifestyle. And some of them have said that, you know, they're going to come afterwards and stuff like that. And I know that, you know, it goes back to Christ. Only Christ can do that. When you're in that hard place, and you're stuck in that place, it does come back down to Christ. And it's because Grace Foundation has a, the head of them is Christ as well. So that's the only thing that can heal anything, like anything that in life that you think that you can't get out of. And a lot of our wahine, 80 to 90% of our Māori women are in prison, and because they can't find a way of breaking that bondage. And so Legacy is where you get it from. So it should be not just in rehab, it should be back in the prison. You know, so we can stop our Māori women from going in there. I'm now in a place where, you know, I need to keep standing with my feet planted, so that my kids, my girls and stuff don't follow the same track as I did. Yes, and it is a battle. It is a battle with each and every one of them. But, you know, without Legacy and without Christ in my life, I wouldn't be here today. And I just thank Destiny Church, Apostle and Pastor Hina for that.
Beautiful. And for yourself, Frida?
For me, when that question came, it flooded back 4 years ago. You know, we've had so many miracles, signs, and wonders that have happened to our men coming through. There's a lot I can say, but I'll just touch on a few. There was one that a 65-year-old man who was alcoholic, and he could never shake it. He stayed with us he was meant to stay with us for 15 weeks. He stayed with us for a year and had been clean. And the judge, his family and his mokos couldn't believe it, the change that he'd done. And that's because he pushed himself, and his mind was so clear that he came into the house and he was just in awe of a whole new lifestyle that he came into. Another one, he had a sentence indication of 22 years. We supported him in church as well as Man Up. We all went in there in church. His sentencing indication was 22 years. We come together with him. He was shocked. We went into the courtyard of Manukau courtroom. We linked arms, we prayed, and we fasted for a whole week. He went up for his sentencing, and he got time served and release because he had done his time. We had another one that went up on a horrific charge of murder and aggravated robbery. We, as a household, as a whānau, and that's what I believe that our whare is, we're a whānau. We come together, the good, bad and ugly. He was going up for trial. We went up to support him also. We prayed, we fasted, and so that's what our men know. That's how we support them when they come into the house. A lot of them don't know God. A lot of them don't know what praying and fasting is, but they got to know it, and they got to see the miracles. That man, when we went up, when he got sentenced, that man, he got acquitted. He got acquitted of both charges. And right there, when he came out to me and he goes, "Mama, that's God, eh? That was God that done it." I said, "It was God, and it was you too, because you made that step forward." You know, and there's many there. And just last week, another one, going up. So we've had so many miracles coming through because these men started to believe. These men saw that opportunity, and we gave them that hope to understand and grow and believe. And the other one got off again too. So many of our men that have completed and come through Manatua, they've had time served or 12 months supervision, still out, still free. So my miracle there is that those achievements. My miracle there is that we're pulling men out of prison. I'd like to see our prisons shut down, because the more they're building prisons, more that we can pull them out. And we can't do it without the connection that we have here. And it's all glory to God, and our apostle and our First Lady, our spiritual parents, of the guidance and example that they are for many of us. We are the fruits of what they've shown us and that we've done. We are the fruits of the men that are coming through our whare, and it's a chain reaction, and that's what we want to see as a corporate, as a body of Christ. This is what we want to see. We want to see breakthrough, break those prison doors. Isaiah 61:1, and that's what we stand on, the principles of God, and that's what our men know. So, whanaungatanga.
I just want to add something to that too, Whaia, is that we're working. They need to acknowledge that and know that what me and Whaia and the other Whaias are doing, it's working. It's working for these men. That's why we're determined to keep going. And like Whaia said, it's through Christ, it's been through the Legacy program, it's been through Man Up. The proof is in the pudding. The same thing that Whaia mentioned is what's happening through our house as well. Yeah.
That's so amazing. They definitely deserve a hand. And just in closing, I guess, we know as, the House of Destiny, that only God, only Christ can completely transform a life. Through that extension, obviously, of our church, our apostle and Pastor Hannah, and then those who, heed to the call, heed to the cause, and actually put it into action. So just want to say, ladies, and to all our facilitators, you are brave hearts. You are brave to stop your life, to help others get a better life. And not only just stop our life, but we actually still have issues. But that doesn't mean we stop helping everybody else to be able to bring them up. We actually do it together, and we do it alongside each other. So thank you very much, ladies. Thank you so much. Please cue our next AV.
My name's Pastor Paul from Kaiwaka Revival Church. Hey, I was just thanking the bro Shane for bringing Man Up to Kaiwaka. It's been 3 years praying that I knew that Man Up would be the answer to a lot of broken men here in Kaiwaka and around the Kaipara. So I'm just really awesomely blessed to have this Man Up program happening here. And the men here are just enjoying it. I'm just seeing lives transformed right in front of me, just through kōrero. And the heart of the men they're speaking truth out and they're healing themselves. And this Man Up program is thumbs up.
I've been coming to Man Up for 6 weeks now. Haven't missed a course, and it's just been really good. For me personally, it's been good to just identify a whole lot of things in my life. And even reading the book, especially at the moment getting into demons in my house, and just identifying so many things and demons that are definitely within me and that have been affecting my life, and just helping me get set free of those things. But mainly, brothers, just seeing other men completely change. And one of my really good mates who could never look at a person or talk well now holds his head high, and he can just talk really well to people. And just seeing change in the brothers, and boys turning into men, and even men turning into boys and crying, or letting out things that they would never let out in any other situation. Just love it.
Doing Man Up is real, and there's no holding back with it. It's guys that want to be healed from what they've been through. So they're telling the dead dead set truth, and other guys that are listening, it comes in up out of them because they're hearing it, and they will do the same, and they're getting it all up and remembering stuff that they've hidden and kept down, and that has really hurt and destroyed their life, and that is what we're dealing with. This is probably the best. I've done so many courses, and this is by far the best.
Game changer for me, you know, and trying to bring light into those areas that even though sometimes we don't even know they're there. So, and it's good to see. Good for me, you know, when I share that stuff, I know it's going to resonate and help other people. So, in terms of my progress for the course, I love it. You know, it's definitely real, very structured. Coming from a military background, we only do stuff that works. So this is the only program in New Zealand that works.
Kia ora whānau, Tāwhiri here from Kaiwaka Revival. Hey, I just wanted to talk about the amazing Man Up program that we have running in our community for the first time through Shane Hakaraia. I just want to say that the impact with our men has been amazing. What I love about it is giving us the tools and how we can deal with the many dysfunctions that we face as men. Many coming from different backgrounds in our community, those from gangs to drugs, addictions, and many diverse different backgrounds and environments. Our men have been given the tools and how they can deal with these dysfunctions, how they can take responsibility for their actions, and how they can become better men, better fathers. So I'm truly seeing the change and the attitude shift as men have been given hope where they can break these cycles, break these chains, and become better for their whānau and better for their families.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, whānau, I'll tell you what, we can actually stand up now and go take the nation with what's out in this crowd right now. What do you reckon? You know what's up? Is us. We're here. And I'll tell you what, we just thought we had the best panel until we heard the Legacy ladies. So we're like, should we start off with a haka? But hey, whānau, this is us, that Kaiwaka AV there. I guess it's a good prelude to the new season we're in. Your destiny, we're destiny. That's not destiny. That's interest groups outside of what we're in. And it's just beautiful to see. We have Pastor Paul and Tāwhiri that were here yesterday morning, connected into this vein. But it was just beautiful to see the continual work that Man Up has started. Man Up is continuing, and it's just awesome to see that highlight AV of what's happening in Kaiwaka.
Fantastic, awesome, Kaiwi. Hey, that's your name, eh, Kaiwi? People may not know you out here, so just an introduction might be...
That's you already know me, that's why I don't need to know my name.
Anyway, hey, we've got some handsome gentlemen sitting on the middle couch here, and obviously we've got something to talk about today. So, Brother Duke, we'll come over to you first, bro. Awesome to see you. How you going?
Yes, very well. Excited. What a battle to get here, but great to be here.
Yeah, cool. So,
over to me. We're not nervous. We're just in a Man Up session in front of 1,000 people.
Oh.
But anyways, Duke has been a phenomenal part, and when you look across Facebook, you look across the nation, you see brothers that are continuing the mahi. We've just come out of pandemic. Yeah. Right through pandemic, right through everything, there's those certain brave hearts that have continued. But for you, my brother Duke, I understand when Elder Kane and Sonny came to us and brought us this new innovative idea. And you know, Elder Kane and Sonny is really believing in it. It took a bit of convincing for me. But nevertheless, brother, it's I guess the heart that you have for the cause. But you brought this specific title, Rotations to Elevation. Yeah. Tell our people, tell us, and probably convince me more, what's that all about? Nah. What is rotation to elevations, my brother?
Yeah, roger that. No more rotations, elevations only is something that I've been posting up. So
beautiful.
I suppose the easiest way to start would be to explain what rotation is, what rotation is. But I'm going to place back a question on you, dear director. When you think of that word rotation, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Motivation. Well, I thought like the yellow bus, round and round, same old cycle, round and round.
Yeah.
Getting sick of the same people showing up.
Yeah. Okay, that took a twist, but here we are.
That's rotation there, over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm
that's
looking
it.
for another program.
No, that's it. You got the program right here. We got it right here.
That's
It's
right.
as far as you need to go. But when I think of that word rotation, like Director said, I do think about the wheels on the bus that go round and round, hey, that rotate. I also think about the back wheel on my muscle that at times is forced to spin erratically but goes nowhere when life causes me to hit the front brake. Hey, some of you be able to relate to that, yeah? I also think about a roundabout road and the lives that are on this roundabout making all the right turns, but effectively missing the opportunity to turn up. Just because you're on a road making all the right turns doesn't mean you're heading in the right direction. Because effectively, if we miss that opportunity to turn up, we're going to start making right turns in the wrong direction. So that's basically what a rotation is.
Awesome.
You know, it's something that keeps you comfortable. It's something that keeps you thinking that this is as good as it needs to be, because actually I'm quite comfortable living in this level of dysfunction, this level of life, that there's no actual need to move higher or to elevate any further.
Awesome, Duke.
Yeah.
Bro, tell us, elevate us. Where we going? What's the elevation part? How does it apply? We want to know.
How does it apply? Shucks, we're in the season of brave hearts. We're here. It's going to take courage. How do we apply it? We face up, we turn up, and we elevate. Yeah. The season of showing up is over. We can't merely show up, continue to show up and spectate or participate. We're actually here to overtake, and that requires us turning up to elevate. Woo, I need to write that down. Hold up. I'll just hashtag that.
Actually going to hold, he's got so much here. But sons, this is a key word that I learned, so I had to search it up, which is called diversifying. Not diversion, or, just diversifying. This whole conference being like, wow, I rocked up to a Rainbow Conference or something. We've just diversified the whole approach. But we are in that season. You're in Kaiwaka, you've now got rotations, elevation, but Sunny, to your left there, why is the brother here on this platform?
Awesome. Woo, he's in the hot seat, eh? Feels a bit hot at the moment, Matt. Anyway, Matt, so hey, let me just give you an intro. So you're certainly a face that's familiar to many of us, but something that's happening at present, Matt, that you're doing and you're a part of is this catchphrase, and we've heard this often in Christian circles, healing camps, but now something's happening that's fresh and new, and you're right in the middle of that. So why don't we, everyone, I'll give it up for Matt first.
Okay.
They want to clap for you, I could hear it. Woo, woo, woo. Your fans. So tell us about that, Matt, healing camps.
Okay, yeah, healing camps, very, very brand new word to me. If I could say it like that. But this healing camp thought, korero, came about. I got a phone call from my son Kane. He said, Dad, I'm coming down. And I said, oh, okay. I'm bringing a guy with me. And I said, okay. He needs some time out and he just needs some space. I said, oh, okay. Cool. We're coming down this day. And they turn up. Out comes Kane. Hugging. Out comes this other guy. And he's got a camping pack on, sleeping bag tucked in the top, and a hat, and comes down. He's a little bit downcast, but anyway, kia ora, bro. Bit of a butt heads. Move the cap a little bit. So yeah, got to get the contact, with the nose. Got to get the contact with the nose, so to make it proper hungi. So anyway. He said, I said, yeah, good to see you, bro. Come down. He said, yeah, I'll come down to the bit of the healing camp. I said, healing camp, eh? And
so
I thought, that's what he said. And I said, come in anyway, bro. Hey, welcome to our whakamana hapu, bro. And he said, thank you. He was really, appreciative, or something was going on through his head. Anyway, come inside. Meet the wife and the dog, And, No, we got a good dog, noisy dog. Come and met the dog and sat down, made him comfortable. And it evolved from there. So, hence...
Hey, Matt, I was just thinking, because this guy, his name is Hori, eh?
Hori, yeah.
Hori. Now, so the other side of the puzzle whānau is that Hori is part of our Man Up at Manureo Marae. And so I saw the Hori before the healing camp and a totally new man that actually ran the whole next session after coming back from your place. So what happened down there? What happened down there, Matt?
Yeah, okay, we sort of got down to the heart of the matter, and as to why he was here, and so we just got talking, and he had a whole lot of stuff going on, and we started to talk and unpack stuff until we really got down to the heart of the matter, and that he was able to actually say what his secret is, what his problem, the root of his problem. And but prior to that, I could see where it was, but I was able to unpack some of my story, which helped him unpack his story. And that, to me, was, as we sort of evolved over the day, helped him to confront, unpack, no secret. This is me. This is what I've done. I'm ashamed. I don't want to do this anymore. I said, good. So that was enough for me to say, let's do something right now.
Fantastic.
And we did. So they call that a healing camp.
Yeah.
But I am a healer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it up for Matt,
I'm
Give
all
it up for
things.
Matt.
I think also just as Matt speaking too, like Kane just gave him a call, and he's like, oh, healing camp. But it was the availability. It was the space. It was the, yes, I'm available. I'm here. I don't know what's happening. But some of our whānau that we're coming in to feel you before they know you. And it's the acceptance that we're very much aware of. They're not feeling judged. But I think also for you, Matua, Matt, you're never irrelevant. Look, he's that young. But the stories that I was hearing from out of Kane and Sunny about this man, Hori, and I seen him, it was an intensive, isolated time in a safe space. And that's what these healing camps are. It's in a new time whereby I believe what took place and transpired with this man. And he said one thing there also, whakamana hapu, is all around this whole nation of Aotearoa, and it's us in this room with the connections, the diversities that we have. But just want to say, yeah, Matt, I was inspired when I heard the story from out of Kane and them. But back over to Sonny, I don't know where I was going with that, but over to you.
Hey. No, you're onto it, because really what we're saying today, our whānau, and what we're hoping you're catching in the atmosphere of this is that now it's time for us to look outside the box as to, we've actually created our own parameters around how we can express who we are, but this is a diverse way of doing it. The brother over here, Duke's got another way of doing it, and so what you're finding today, and actually I thought about it, and I don't want to make any derogatory comments towards the rainbow thing, but we've got some different colours to the Man Up t-shirts, and even that, the legacy shirts, that's a sign, whānau. We're moving outside of what we used to be doing because we need to reach diverse subgroups of people, and that's how we're going to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I just jumped up there, forget I'm in front of everyone. But we're going to bring this part to a close because we have got another panel coming up shortly. But just one last thing over to you, Duke. With our people here in the room that have been doing the rotations, you already inspired us. How pivotal, though, do you believe this elevation is this next 12 months for you, Duke?
It's vital. It's absolutely vital. Your level of elevation is determined by your level of depth. Same as your level of healing. The deeper you go, the higher you'll flow. It's simple. It's vital.
The quote master. Matt, last words from you. What do you got? What's on your heart to share with the whānau today?
What's on my heart? What time's lunch? No. That was way back. I don't even know where that came from, actually.
Oh, we know. We know where it come from.
Yeah. Nothing. But hey, elevation. Just, I'll take it over here.
All right.
Elevation, healing camp, get involved, take it to another level, heal the broken heart, set the captives free. That's us. Amen.
Awesome.
Hey, before we cue this next AV, it is also Matua Matt and your wife. What's your wife? I've never called him Matua before, but anyway, Matt and Ann Warren's 50th anniversary. So I think that's worthy of fruits, credibility, healing, example, and I think that was the depth of what Hori had walked into. Was 50 years of proven fruit, not only through the program, but through what we're connected to. So hey, honor to you, Matt, and your beautiful wife, and again, your crazy son of yours. But right now, whānau, Sunny and Elder Kane again, we sat around the table, and again, they were compelling us to the greater cause of what's happening. And for me personally, we were there this time last week, right now, like we're walking onto a marae. What a phenomenal experience. But we're going to cue this AV, and we're going to allow this AV to show you our experience just last week and what's happening. No reira, over to you.
You go around the country, there's an oppression on all of these countries. We're going to bring hope to you. We're going to restore our towns. We're going to restore our countryside. We're going to restore our cities. And we're going to bring joy to that city, granting signs and wonders to be done by your hands.
Healing's been a big part of this journey for the brothers at Wairoa. So it's only right now that we get off the Zoom and we get into the room and meet our brothers and their families. So we've brought a lot of our Auckland whānau along with the Manurua Marae, Arangatani, Sunny Wilcox, and it's a collaboration of going down to not only celebrate and graduate, but also work with our men and their partners on what's next, like Legacy, Arangatani program. It's going to be an amazing time, so just really appreciate it for the people that have come on board today. Stay tuned for more. See you soon.
town, and in the last couple of months being a part of the Man Up program, it has opened up some big doors for me personally. So I've gone back to school studying psychology and counselling. So that's a bit of my journey at the moment.
Kia ora whānau. Well, come to the end of an exciting couple of days actually down here in Wairoa. And yeah, for me it was amazing, number of different levels. I think being here to support Man Up Legacy and also to launch Arangatane in Wairoa is something massive. I think Wairoa is the furthest part away in New Zealand from Auckland in the North Island, and so for us to be here is quite special on its own. But you know, just to hear the men's testimonies and the stories of change, it's always, even for me that's, you know, been around this for many years, it's exciting. And to meet new people, the whānaus that are in Wairoa, and the connections that we're making with people from this area is amazing. So for me, man, just a totally phenomenal experience. And I know that this is just the start of something amazing that's going to happen in this town of Wairoa and with the families that are here. So yeah, that's me signing out, and I look forward to the 8-hour trip home on the road. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, yeah, it's 10 past 11. 10 past 11 last week, Saturday. We're sitting in a marae. I'm still not convinced. I'm just going because I've got a leader, and the leader says this works, and we've got to try this in a new town. There's new things happening. We got into Wairoa on the Friday. Honestly, dead. Like, I'm no apologies if you're from Wairoa, but it's a dead town. Honestly, you're wondering, like, grrr, grrr. And then he got back, Chico, like, oh. Grrr. We're welcomed in by the locals. Friday, Saturday, we wake up, and at about 11 o'clock, we're walking onto the marae. And it was when I was in the room. I was sitting in the room, the mihi whakatau things happening, and it was there I realized I'm glad I got my feet here. I had to get my feet there. Sometimes we try and understand and we try to perceive revelation, but sometimes you just got to get your feet there. Something about showing up. And it wasn't that moment I said to Ara Kane and Sunny, okay, I'm in. Okay, I'm in. Whatever else is going to happen after this, but we're in. 12 months is so important that's coming up. But that trip for me, and I guess for you, Sunny, is again what we're talking about here. Like Apostle said in that beginning phase there, we're going to wake up every dead town, every dead city. It requires our faith. And one thing I loved about that was we've done the tour duties. We smashed every big town with all you two tangata fellas, which is all of you, with thousands of us rocking with all our motorbikes. This was the opposite. This was intimate. This was just a very few of us, really relational, and they weren't ready to take us on. It was just hide and I. And that's what I loved about that experience. For you, Sonny, just to close this part off.
Yeah. You covered most of it. The gold, I guess, was, when I watched that AV again, was the intimacy, the whanaungatanga that was there. And you know, it comes back really, and I think about just one relationship, and I got to say to Kane and his uncle that lives down in Wairoa, you know, the difference between this for me and the two of Judy's is that it's from that intimate space of a whānau connection, but then it's wrapping around with all the beauty, the leadership, the maturity, the seasoned, you know, the team that went down were like some top shelf whānau from the house here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're part of that. You're part of that. But that's the beauty of what's happening in this space is the connections. And there's so many different things that I could talk about here, but it was just amazing to be there. And that was just a start, because we're going to continue that work in that town. And I know many other towns we're going to be getting into, but it's that whānau, whakapapa, whenua. That was the beauty for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, whānau, before we move into this next part, can I get us to do something that's not on the script? I'm going to get us all to stand up. Underneath your seat is a pot of paint. And I want you to put your head down. And when I say 1, 2, 3, you put your head up. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Just sit back down. That's all. Do you remember that first AV? What an amazing AV. Anyways, Sonny, who's the bright young man on your right?
Yes. Yeah, we're asking you. Who are you, brother? Who are you? Who are you?
Hey, it's great being on the panel with these fellas, eh? Awesome, man. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Mark. I've been in this house for coming up 19 years in December. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. And I guess probably why I'm up here is do Man Up on the North Shore. Started that about 5 or 6 years ago. And yeah, awesome.
Beautiful. And I think for Mark, you saw Kaiwaka up there. You saw us in Wairoa, the Marais. But again, like Duke, you see these brave hearts that are just consistent, continual, doesn't stop beating in regards to how Man Up can be expressed, how Man Up can be done. But this man, I believe, travels an hour each way several times a week in rehabs. And I guess, can you share to us the work you're currently doing in these rehabs, and how important is it? How did that all begin for you?
Yeah, thank you. Hey, man, when you're burning with a cause and the fellas don't come into you, then I'm on a mission to go and find some fellas. So that's sort of how it's come about. But the lovely lady that was here, Fire Matilda, as you heard, she was connected through Legacy and that. And so we've worked with her and some of her whānau for a few years. And so when she started the rehab, well, that's the first one, we're into support. And so we've been there. Did some last year, but this year it's really ramped up. She's managed to get a lot more guys in. So there's about up to 15 guys that are in there. And, you know, the start of the year is, you know, it's interesting dynamics. You come in there and there's, when I started this year, there's Hells Angels, there's Mongrel Mob, there's some prezzies, 3 or 4 prezzies in there. There's Black Power, there's Headhunters, there's a whole lot of different dynamics. And here comes the little Pākehā fella. And so there's dynamics, I think, and I can see they're thinking, ooh, the heck. And some of these fellas, you'll see in the photo, some of these fellas are giants. Some of them are more average, but you know, they can pick up very fast who's real, who's genuine, who has a heart and a passion. And I'm pretty open. I'm not religious. I'm not churchy. I'm real with them about, and I said a lot of things with them. I say, you know what? In here, despite culture, background, everything else, we can all relate to pain. We've all had loss, hurt, disappointment, different things in our backgrounds, and it's all about how we can heal the mamai, and we can, you know, break the cycle for us and for our kids. And so that's the one that we do there is Awesome's got some great dynamics. The other ones that we get into is one guy run the 0800 number during lockdown, wanted some help, support, so we did that online. When you come back, you know, the following year, he's like, oh, I've got a couple of mates who are keen to jump on as well. So I jumped on the Zoom because the lockdowns, we couldn't go into their rehabs yet. Jump on the Zoom and thought, oh, 2 or 3, and then 18 followers were on. They were like, oh, shucks. And my daughter was crying. She was upset. I'm trying to do this. I'm like, okay, yep. So I did it anyway, and they must have loved it because the next week 25 got on, and then it grew up to 30. And then I'm like, hey, Mark and Martin, yeah, you fellas jump on, bro, because we've got to do breakout rooms. There's too many on here. And so we had to finish that cycle, and then we were able to go from carrying on in Matilda's place to opening up to going into these homes probably since June. I've been going. So Wednesday night I go into Mairangi Bay. There's about 12 fellas there. And there's whole different dynamics. Again, some of these guys, they're hard out. Some of them have got charges up to looking at 12 years on remand. Some have got sentencing coming up. Some have been addicted 20, 30 years. There's a whole lot of different dynamics. Then on Thursday, I go to Fire Matilda's place. Yeah, I love going there with the brothers. And then after that, I go to another rehab on the same night, which has got it's a combine of Dairy Flats and Silverdale. There's normally 16 or 17 fellas there. And then on Friday, I do a couple online for places that we can't get into at the moment. So it's pretty full on. There's some great dynamics, but I love it. My wife is awesome. Lets me go and do what I do, and she does legacy. But I tell you what, these men, when you're burning with passion for these men and you believe in these men, and when you come in, as Matilda was saying, these are not gangsters, these are men with a beating heart and a cause, and they've been damaged and hurt by life so much. And, but it just takes somebody who believes in them, cares for them, loves them, brings a word of an apostle, just representing apostle as best we can in there, and just being yourselves and let that pour out. It's not a program. It's a life of what you carry, your heart that you're sharing, your journey. And, it's beautiful.
Beautiful,
and so sometimes you have to switch it up.
Yeah. We're going to get to that switch up, but he's not going to stop. He's going to carry on going.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to tell us he's that zealous or passionate, but we want us to take not the encouragement, but to catch that this hasn't become irrelevant. Healing never stops. But we're in a time whereby healing needs to be matched up with deployment. And I guess we're going to come over to, sorry, Mark, if that's all right, because I guess you started to preach now. Going to go over to Sunny. So in that AV, we see arangatane. Like, what's this all about? Let our people know, what is this arangatane and how did this all begin?
Awesome. Yeah, there's a short answer to that. It's just man up in Māori. That's the short answer.
Sure.
But the long answer for me goes all the way back to our last conference in 2021, June, when we had all the iwi here.
Beautiful.
And from that iwi, the iwi coming into conference, we had a strong connection with Manurewa Marae, just over the back in Manurewa here. And so from that connection, that's where I had, I guess, when you're on a marae, the expectation is te reo, tikanga, and all of those things that are Māori. And so there's a perfect place, an incubator, if you like, to grow arangatane. And so it's man up with the Māori flavour, and it's to be, Māori can engage with it more easily. And one of the fellas, and this goes back to our man Hori, again, this is Hori who you heard about from Matt. He was offered to come to Man Up at the church, and he said, no, I'm not going to go to Man Up. But then when he heard it was at the marae, I'm going to go to the marae. And so we're leveraging off some of our tāne Māori who are in that space, who know that the marae is a safe space. So arangatane really is us representing Man Up, repackaging Man Up, so that it can get into our Māori spaces more easily.
Brilliant, it's amazing. Now I'll come back over to you, Mark. Switching things up now, how have you, obviously, I'm trying to figure out, because a couple of my mates, are my size and bigger. So I was trying to understand, how do they listen to you? Because they wouldn't even listen to me. And I've been in here longer. But anyways, how have you switched it up? How has this whole thing transpired and switched up in regards to how you're doing Man Up in those homes?
Probably initially, some of the, as Kay was saying, some staunch fellas, you can't necessarily just go in and just, hey, tell them that you're just really open and just, I guess, setting the template. Some of these guys, you might have heard in the AV before, they've been in the prison system a long time. Some of the guys, they've done programs and done counseling. But I guess when you're open and you're real and they can feel the vulnerability from yourself, it sort of sets the template or sets the atmosphere. And all the time we hear these guys, I've been in all these programs, all the counseling, and this is the first time I've ever shared this. And that's why, as long as it's carrying in there and it's dark and it's dirty in there, it's like a cancer inside, it's going to eat them up. So our job there is to try to bring that out. We're not necessarily, but I guess sometimes there's the different dynamics in the groups, and sometimes you have to switch it up. They're not always going to turn up happy and excited. Sometimes there's gang tensions, there's different things that are happening. There's a lot of stuff happening with their families. They're stuck here, stuff's happening back at home. And so sometimes it's discerning and being able to switch it up even at the moment. As we're doing the introduction, I see, okay, the topic I have tonight, I'm going to have to use one of the other ones, to be honest. Or, I guess you're for those who know in session 4, it's jealousy, anger, rejection. And I'm looking in the room like, okay, rejection is big enough just to cover tonight. And we're going to stretch out at jealousy to the next one, anger to the next one. It's whatever's going to work for these men. And this week is seeing, and then there's times I haven't even, because the principles are there, Man Up, the fire starter's there. It's just coming up with a fire starter, talking real, and then a good question or two. This week at one of the rehabs, I said to them, I said a little bit about my dad and my relationship with my father. And I said to them, there's 16 guys in here. I said, tell me about your father and the relationship that you have with your dad. 16 men in there. 4 of them, their dad had committed suicide. Most of the rest, they had abusive fathers. And then maybe 5 or 6 had runaway dads. Out of 16, 1 man, his parents were still married, and they'd been married 50 years as well. But his dad, he was an abusive dad when he drank too. So it's no wonder that these men have so much challenges, and they come from broken homes, abusive fathers that killed themselves, and it's set them up into a lifestyle of gang, drugs, abuse, addiction, violence, and everything else. And they're just sitting there with men that are just hurting. And we have the answers, and we have solution here because of what we received from the apostle, and through man, we're learning to speak and to open up, and it's the same principles we use, in home, but it's the apostolic word and what we carry. Have I not been? I mean, I was suicidal, I was depressed, I was a mess, low. So you'll never catch me talking to 1 or 2 people at all. And yet God has so healed my life, and so you carry that. It's not a program. It's you and who you are, your victories, your challenges, your mistakes, your faults, and everything. All that becomes a pour out to these men. And so we have something here, because everything that, from Apostle and Pastor Hannah over the years, and hearing Pastor Sam yesterday, breaking the generational thing. And it's the same thing that we're trying to do. Hey, you didn't have a dad that loved you, and cool, okay. It's tough, it's difficult. Your dad was abusive, cool. Can we talk about it? Can we heal so at least we can break the cycle, and it's never too late? Even if your kids have experienced some of the things you wish that they hadn't, it's never too late. We can start to turn it around now, and we can be healed, and there's a great purpose ahead, so that's what we do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Round of applause for that. Just got one more question for this panel here. And you got Arangatane, you got Man Up, you got Kaiwaka in the churches, you got Arangatane getting into the maraes, you got Man Up, they'll get into everywhere. I think it's the activation of just continuing, but it's also, I guess for this next 12 months, how important is these vehicles to this next 12 months? And I guess, particularly for you, Arangatane, how can this be transferable to maybe some of our people that may be wondering, how can I get a hold of that, So, we'll start with you, Sonny.
So, Arangatane is going to blow up, whānau. And I say that for 2 reasons. The first reason is this: the worker is worthy of his wages. 7 years for us in Auckland anyway, and I know I'm looking at some seasoned pros here. It's from the heart, it's voluntary, and it'll never change. But being in the marae and being in those spaces, being in funded spaces, you see there is millions of dollars flying around, and no one does it better than this fella, you, and us. And so in my mind, it's like, why are we not getting that resource? Why can't we have the workers worthy of their wages? So that's part of Arangatane. That's why it can get into a marae, but it can also get in front of a funder, and it can not be cancelled because of our connection to the house, which is the reality we're facing. So that's number 1. Number 2, I think, is Arangatane for me, and it's like Maki's saying, it gives me a chance to express, I guess, what I love and who I am. Has a lot to do with Te Ao Māori. And so what I'd like to say is that many of us are Māori in the room. Many of us have that same feeling, that same affinity to Te Ao Māori. So this is one vehicle. But what's sitting in your heart? What are you involved in? Are you in community? Yes, you are. What are you involved in your own space? There's a challenge from me to the whānau here. I said, what can you initiate? Because it was just a desire from me and then an affirmation from the elder. Yes, let's do it. That's as simple as it is to start something. So 12 months, we're going to see this multiplied multiple times throughout this amazing church. And that's going to be the net to come under the umbrella of hope. So 12 months.
So they come and see you. That's the one. And I guess sorry, last one over to you, Mark. Same question, but before you answer that question, what is probably one of the biggest barriers right now that's stopping us furthering this advancement?
For me, it's time. I mean, with all these guys here, I'd love to have more time, quality time. There's other places we're not in yet. Probably the second one is, hey, I'll tell you what, the harvest is ripe everywhere. but the laborers. We need more laborers. We need more people involved that are passionate. Man Up ain't dying, Legacy ain't dying. It's as hot as you want it to be, is as hot as you are. So it's never lost relevance for me since day one. It's as relevant as it's ever been since its birth today. I'm passionate about it, I tell you what. But I'm passionate about people, passionate about everything that we're involved in, what we hear here. Probably the other challenge you'll see is a couple of, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had an amazing graduation, 30 plus men graduating for the first time, and just, awesome. And then right after that, police raid the rehab, and then got issues with probation trying to kick us out of some of these rehabs, and the other rehabs say, sorry, we can't come to any of your corporate events because, well, they're sniffing that what we have is something very powerful. To me, I just figured, hey, we must be doing something right. You want to get rid of me and get us and get Man Up out of there? Well, we must be on the right track, because I tell you what, the system is not set up to help our men and help our families. But we need a solution. We've got that solution right here. We've got to revolutionize the whole thing, because that whole system is there, set up to keep them locked up and in that system. And the moment they sniff out something that's come from apostolic seed, something that's coming from the apostles, something that's winning and actually seeing transformation from what they're funded to do, and it's not working, in fact, some of it does more damage to our men and our families, to come to a program that's voluntary and it's working and we're seeing change, and the men are genuine and they're happy and they believe it and they love it and they're supportive of us and they speak up for us. I tell you what, yeah, we've got to get in there. So we've got a lot to do, I think, over the next 12 months. But, man, we can spread it from here, from this conference. Man, let's revolutionize it. Let's take it up a notch. Let's spread it like wildfire. It's only just beginning, whānau. It's only just beginning.
Well, that pretty much wraps us up for this part here. You've heard all that you've heard, and then we just anticipate and hope that the healing, the deployment, but more so the catching has been received this afternoon. We will have the Elder King come up directly after this AV. So thank you, whānau, for your time.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. I was about to sing that song, Money! Anyway, it's a good old classic song. Hey, welcome everybody. Gee, just a good morning actually. It was a great presentation from all the people that have been on stage. And again, give yourself a round of applause. So what a journey we've been on, with just even the Man Up journey, but I even just reflect on my own journey in Destiny Church for 25 years. That's through my parents, and it's all about connections, My parents been connected to Apostle and Pastor Hannah, then myself been connected to the God of my own father to come into Destiny Church, and here I stand here today still going, still flourishing along with my wife and children, grandchildren even. What a beautiful life we have. And it's so, it's just almost like you just want to take some time to just thank God and thank the people that have been in your corner, been in your team. Sometimes, we just brush past, those that have actually been pillars and stood their ground so that one day you'll be able to stand your ground. So it's just an honor to everybody that's here, the people that have been in the church 5, 10, 15 years. Hey, and to those that have just walked in the last few weeks, you're in the right place at the right time. That's why we call it Destiny Church. So from me, look, I just wanted to, I've taken on a bit of a burden over the last few weeks. And what it's been is I've been watching a lot of posts over the years of our facilitators that are voluntary, gather men, gather women into the program. They do it from the bottom of their heart. Sometimes they do it out of their own pocket. And I thought to myself, this has got to change. I'm sort of a passive aggressive, I'm sort of, most of you know me, I'm very passive. But then there's a side to me too that if you tick me off, You see another side of me. Anyone else a bit schizo? There's a few in the house, still a few crazy ones here. Yeah, they call it passive aggressive. I've been passive for a while. I was passive through the lockdown. Whatever that means, to me it was, I don't know, I just wasn't agitated. I knew what was going on was wrong, but something didn't really strike me on the inside. But it was our facilitators that I realized that, and Sonny just brought it up, the worker is worthy of his wage. For too long, our program, our lifestyle changing program has been, as Apostle said yesterday at our pastors meeting, we've been trodden on, wiped with their feet on a mat with our program. And so I'm just going to say, there's going to be no more of that. There's going to be no more of that. Now, you saw the $1 Million Man. Did you actually read that the right way, though? Do you see what you are doing, just even to one life? Well, the $1 Million Man is connected to the prison system, the court system, counsellors, OT, and every other government department. And the cost factor to the taxpayer, let's not say to the government, because the government is not, they're not the owner. They're supposed to be stewarding. The owner of every decision and every outcome really is the taxpayer. Man Up in Legacy is a good example. $1 Million Man or $1 Million Woman. We reduce the strain on our own country. You need to take some credit for that. No more doormat for Man Up in Legacy. No more institutional discrimination coming from departments. And I'm with you, Fire Matilda. Let's go to war. Let's go to war. Let's fight. That's why we got the war paint on. Because I realize that our apostles already said we're in a war. But what I like to hear, though, is that in war, these casualties. And this is where Man Up in Legacy is going to have a huge effect and impact on our country. The 2-year battle, psychological warfare, division, separation that's been imposed upon our families, upon our communities, it's harvest time. No time like ever before has there been an opportunity for us. The stage is set. It's literally set for you right now just to step in. You don't have to be a great facilitator. You don't have to be anything else in between. You just got to have heart. And when you turn up to places and you get your feet at the right place at the right time, that's why we went to Wairoa, because that's my whānau. I need to get connected to my whānau, because where we're going, we've got to take everybody. It's with urgency that I believe that I've got to take as many people as I can on this journey where the apostles are setting the direction for the next 12 months and beyond. We've got to get everybody into the ark. You've got to have a message in your voice that's got urgency. You've got to have walk and intention in your feet that has purpose. So when you turn up, people know this time. It certainly is a different time to any other time that we've ever lived in. There's so much brokenheartedness. But we are the heart surgeons. We are the people of God that can bring division and reconciliation and facilitate brokenness even in your internal world, but also in your relationships as well. We are those people. Very unique and special to society right now. I just got a couple of notes here. I'll just get through it. Don't worry, I won't hold you up too long. We've got a big event coming up with Pastor Hannah at 2 o'clock. So give me another 5 minutes. I promise you I'll be out of here. It's a psychological warfare, mass casualties, Honestly, listen and watch. Be aware now that people of all sorts of colour and creed are now in a position where they have got no more answers. This devil, and we saw it was really well done by the youth last night, how satanic and how evil this government has become towards its citizens. But thank God there are people like you and I who have a revelation, a word, and a heart to enter and be brave, to go to places now where, what good comes out of Wairoa? Exactly, what good does come out of Wairoa? Until you actually go there and look into the treasure box and find treasure, then you realize, wow, we've struck gold. And through a family, a hapu, but then bringing destiny. It was like we took the Avengers. All of us are Avengers, by the way, of different kinds. You just work out which superhero you are. But when you take a portion of destiny, there's only a small portion of this church into a desolate place. It brings life, it brings energy, hope, faith. It brings it all in one hit in an intensive 24-hour visit. Even though it was, it takes a while to recover after those trips. I've come to heal the brokenhearted. That's what we do, I know it sounds very simple and profound, but we do that. It's the most important human achievement is to heal and become whole. And whatever's caused that broken heart, well, as Mark said, there's no judgment. They'll come as they are. I feel that, I just want to finish with this. I'm trying to talk and then I realize I've just got to get to this one point and here it is. I feel that listen, all the men in this house, I think there's a void that we need to fill. I'm hearing it. I go to meetings and I'm in some community meetings and I'm just looking again, where's the men? Where's the man? And I think there's an opportunity for us. The youth movement launched the youth movement last night, political movement, Pastor Hannah at the helm. I heard a statement from Apostle maybe a few months ago, and it was a 1 million man movement. Now think about this. If we look at the government, where is the portfolio that actually focuses on men's affairs? If man and men are the problem, don't you think it's common sense in a government approach to have somebody in that beehive with some balls, by the way, I'm not talking male, I'm talking with bravery, courage, understanding and wisdom to be able to actually help our men situation in this country. So I'm going to launch a man movement. It's already been launched by the apostle, but I'm going to put some wheels and legs and arms on it and some hairs on the chest. And we're going to launch this 1 million man movement because not every man's going to come to Man Up. Let's just get over that right now. Not every man's going to go to Arangatani and every other initiative that we do. We need widespread engagement, involvement. And so men don't actually have a voice. Most of our voices we're muzzled, we're muted in every situation in society. Even media and cartoons don't acknowledge men anymore. So I really feel that void is very important for us to actually fill. And I heard the apostle say this verse, and I'm just going to repeat it to you, from Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 30. And it says here that I sought for a man among them who should build up a wall and stand in the breach before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. That's a void. That's a space that says, who wants it? Who wants to step into it and own it? And when it becomes the monopoly of manhood and men, no other church leads the way than this church right here. So it's official. We're going to launch a man's movement. It's going to go widespread. It's going to have all colors and patches and all sorts of hair and no hair. It's going to have blokes. It's going to have fellas. It's going to have those owls and cherbros. It's going to have every other man in society connected to this movement because we, in 12 months, are going somewhere. We need to be, listen, men, listen. We need to be under the umbrella of hope. And we want to get as many men signed up to this movement as possible. Not just Man Up. We need Black Power. We need Mongrel Mob. We need every single sector, creed of society hooked up with us because that's where we're heading. Oh yeah, come on now. I even feel a feminist push it back at me. As a man, as a father, as a provider. But we've got to bring back those traditions. They are so important to our families that we have healthy men, very good, strong fathers in the homes. That's why we do the mahi voluntary for men. But we have to go to the power center, the beehive. That's where it's all happening. They don't acknowledge us, but we don't need their acknowledgement. We are going to build a movement that's going to get in behind Pastor Hannah and any other politician that's going to build for family and for future. That's what we're going to do. So, where's the landing page for that? Well, we'll just make it up tomorrow. But like this panel over here, we just make it up as we go because if everything was predictable, it would be boring and it would be unattractive. So we've just got to make things up as we go because we're going somewhere with intention. That's all I wanted to say. I think we've filled that void. So stay tuned, brothers, not only in here, but also out in our country. All the blokes, all the fathers, all the men. That's us. We're going to build a movement for our families. And it may be a little bit scary because as I heard from Pastor Hika yesterday, that shocked me. That shocked me as a father, as a man, that they're going to start teaching these doctrines of devils inside the schools. And I just saw a picture of me and a couple of others down at the Board of Trustees meeting, having it out. Contending. Fighting for the faith. That's right. I've just got one last thing. Can I have to say one more? Repo. But prior to becoming a really nice, friendly pastor in Destiny Church, I was actually a repo man. And I want you to get that into your spirit. It's good to be the repo man. The objective of repossession is this. It's to recover the debt. It's to knock on the door. And it's to keep somebody accountable. No, actually, I've got a better explanation. I wrote it down. I was trying to make it up. It didn't work. Where did I write that down? Yeah. Repo. Stay with me. Yeah. Repo man. Apply the pressure. That's the thing. So every time you go to the door, especially Māori women are the worst. Any Māori women in here? Foul mouths. Entitlement. The knock on the door. Hello. Yeah, looking for Mary Magdalene. She's like, piss off. Okay, we're going to use some of those tools and techniques we learned of how to get there. So apply the pressure. You got to apply the pressure. We need to apply the pressure. I'm not going to put up with these nerds and these nerds in Parliament telling faithful, strong family, men and women, what to do. It's over. Just say it's over. Say it again, it's over. Say apply the pressure. Just do your own knock, 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 knock. Who's there? Repo man. And get back what is owed and seal the agreement. That's what you do. You go into the boardroom not asking questions. You go in there to seal the deal and sign the agreement. Man Up is going to go into boardrooms. Man Up is going to go into places now and they're going to sign the agreement. You think, how's that going to happen? That's a good question. Just let it just settle in the spirit. Notice to the government that we're coming to repossess what belongs to the people. Money, resources, and power. Yeah, get that into your head right now. Repossession, repo man. Nobody ever wants the knock, knock, eh? Have you ever had the... No, don't even put your hand up. But that's it. That's, if we look at everything today, everything that's going on in this conference about building your courage capital, well then today's the day. This afternoon's the moment. Tonight's the night. We get as much as we can. This is one time you can be extremely selfish and get as much as you can. Build up your courage, build up your bravery, share that amongst each other in the talk, encourage a brother and sister in this time, because this time is like no other time. This conference is the only time we corporately get together to charge ourselves up. Because in 12 months' time, it ain't going to be the New Zealand that we're living in right now. It's going to be a whole new New Zealand. Do you believe that this morning? All right. Now, you see these high-vis, they're on sale. There's only a few of them. And you know what? You can actually wear these on construction sites. And when their boss says, hey, take that off, it's offensive. You say, excuse me, sir, I'm applying health and safety regulations. I need to be visible on the working site. I'm not sure if that's right, but just try it. It's got the green and it's got the orange. I can see Pa from a distance. Is that you, Pa? I saw your shirt before I saw you see? And it also symbolizes man under construction. Ladies, just be patient with us, please. It's a man under construction, yeah? Every time I've got the high vis on at home, man under construction. When I don't pick up my washing on the floor, don't put the toilet seat up when I should, man under construction. So, without any further ado, we're not here to hold you any longer, but it's been a wonderful time. Please, if you've absorbed anything today about the message, you are a healer. You've been healed, now you're the healer. You have it in your hands. You can take it to wherever you want to go. There are no limitations. There are no borders or restrictions to your healing and how you do it. What does it look like and how is it applied? That's up to your imagination and your hands and your doing. So just on behalf of Apostle and Pastor Hannah, our Destiny Church family, and Man Up in Legacy, Youth Nation, Radical Youth, look at all these subgroups, eh? Man, we're going to populate very quickly. So have a good morning. Go and get charged up, because at 2 p.m, we're back here for Fearless Families with Pastor Hannah. Have a good day.